What's an excuse to call off work that a boss can't argue with? I called my boss at 6 a.m. and said, I can't come in today. I'm currently trapped in my apartment because my neighbor died against my door, and the body has created a vacuum seal that emergency services says will take hours to resolve safely. There was complete silence then. I'm sorry, what? That was 3 years ago, and it remains the only time in company history someone got paid leave for a corpse-related door blockage. My neighbor Harold was 400 pounds and lived alone. We'd exchanged maybe 5 words in 2 years. That morning, I heard a massive thud against my door at 4 a.m. I tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge, not even an inch. I looked through the peephole and saw Harold's back completely covering my door, slumped in a way that made it clear he wasn't just sleeping. I called 911. The paramedics arrived but quickly realized the problem. Harold had died of a heart attack while walking past my door. His body had fallen backward, and his weight had created an almost perfect seal against my door, which opened inward. They couldn't move him without proper equipment, because any sudden shift might damage the door frame and potentially trap me worse. My boss, Kevin, was a nightmare about attendance. He'd once written someone up for being late during a hurricane. He denied bereavement leave for a woman whose father died because, was he really that close to you? So when I called, I expected a fight. Send me proof, Kevin demanded. I sent him photos through the peephole, the police report number, and even put Officer Martinez on the phone to confirm. Kevin still said, can't you exit through a window? I'm on the 8th floor, Kevin. Fire escape? Doesn't connect to my unit. Building code violation they've been ignoring. Well, I'm marking this as unexcused unless you can get here by noon. That's when things got interesting. The building manager arrived and informed me that Harold's body had somehow triggered the building's emergency seal system when he fell. His weight had activated an old security feature that locked down individual units during what it interpreted as a breach attempt. My electronic lock was now frozen, and even after they moved Harold, I'd need a specialist to reset the system. I put the building manager on speaker with Kevin. Sir, this resident cannot leave. The deceased has triggered a 1970 security protocol that requires manual override from the manufacturer. The company is in Germany. It's currently midnight there. Kevin actually asked, can't he just break down the door? The building manager laughed. That's a reinforced steel frame with a magnetic seal. He'd need a battering ram. Also, that would be destruction of property, and his lease specifically states he'd owe $15,000 for door replacement. By hour 3, local news had shown up. Man trapped in apartment by deceased neighbor became a trending story. My phone was buzzing with reporters wanting interviews. I did one by phone, explicitly mentioning that my boss at TechCorp was threatening to fire me for not climbing out an 8th floor window. Kevin called back quickly. Do not mention the company again. Then I need paid leave. This is ridiculous. Check Channel 7. They're doing a live update. The news anchor was saying, the trapped resident states his employer, TechCorp, is demanding he risk his life to attend his shift, showing shocking disregard for employee safety. Kevin's next call was different. Take the day. Paid. Please stop talking to media. But it wasn't over. The German company couldn't reset the system remotely. They needed to send a technician from Berlin. The earliest flight was in 2 days. I was looking at being trapped for potentially 72 hours. The fire department offered to cut through my wall into the next apartment, but that would cost thousands in repairs. The building management said they'd do it if necessary, but wanted to try everything else first. Then Harold's estranged son arrived. Turns out, Harold was worth millions. He'd lived frugally, but owned 3 companies. His son offered to pay for any solution that would get me out quickly, because he needed me to sign papers as a witness to Harold's state when found. Apparently, there were inheritance complications. The son hired a private jet to fly the German technician over immediately. He arrived 16 hours after Harold's death. The lock was fixed in 10 minutes. The son gave me $10,000 for my inconvenience, and asked me to speak kindly of Harold to the media. When I finally returned to work, Kevin had posted a new policy. Employees must provide documentation for absences, except in cases of death-related door blockages, which will be automatically approved. My coworkers still call me Deadbolt. HR created an entire section in the employee handbook about unusual but valid absences because of my incident. Examples now include barren driveway, sinkhole in front of residence, and deceased person creating barrier. The best part? 3 months later, someone tried to copy my excuse. They said their neighbor died against their door. Kevin immediately approved it, terrified of more media attention. Turned out, the employee was lying and was at a music festival. But Kevin couldn't retroactively punish them without admitting he'd been fooled. Now everyone knows, if you need an unchallengeable absence excuse at TechCorp, just invoke the Harold Protocol.